Hey, you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the south. More specifically, we're in Lake Junaluska, North Carolina, and even more specifically than that, we're here at Lake Junaluska. I live not too far from here, just over the next town of Waynesville, North Carolina. And I wanted to go for a walk today, and I figured we'd do it here at Lake Junaluska because recently, the Green Ice Festival, talked to my friends at the Erie Travels podcast, and they told me, showed me an illustration of a lake monster here in Lake Junaluska. Yes, there's legend of an actual lake monster, the Lake Junaluska tassel worm, a creature that has been cited that has the body of a large salamander and the head of a cat. So while I'm going for a walk, I'll just keep one eye out for the tassel worm here. I'd really like to see the tassel worm, but I just figure we go for a walk and I'd talk about a few things that are on my mind. So, I do read all the comments on my videos. I don't have a lot of time to leave individual responses to every comment, but I do read those comments. I do like to know what people think of the videos I'm putting out. Hopefully, sometimes, occasionally, maybe even spark a little bit of conversation between people in the comments section. I like the idea of showing things that get people talking. And every once in a while, I get a set of comments that I don't know, that makes me question what I'm doing here. Question what I'm putting out here into this great universe of ours, and I got some feedback. Some of it, I would say, fair enough, would be to call it negative feedback on a recent video, and I'll just lay out here what prompted this. And I went to the little 5 Points, which is a little art district in the Atlanta area. And I showed their Halloween parade, and it was a really great parade. A lot of spooky stuff, a lot of hard work put in by people in their costumes and their floats. And there was a political aspect to some of the groups that were in that parade. There was most notably there was several people, several groups that were showing sentiments from the recent No Kings protests, people that were against President Donald Trump. And I put this in the video as a part of the parade. It's an interesting snapshot of what's going on in the world around us. It shows some of the beliefs of the people that live in the little 5 Point area. Different communities have different political temperatures and tones, and I think it was very much in line with how a lot of people that frequent the little 5 Point district believe. But I showed it. I didn't give any real commentary on it other than to show it as part of the parade. But that didn't stop people from leaving some negative responses. And I am keeping an eye out for the tassel worm. It could be anywhere, peeking out of the lake. If you guys see the tassel worm in the video somewhere, leave a comment. Let me know if it pops up somewhere. I'm not good at hunting cryptids, so all I can do is really just, is that the tassel worm right there? Is that it sticking? That's a log. Thought we'd spotted it, but that is not the tassel worm. So I guess there's two aspects to the negative comments. Of course, you're going to have people that just politically disagree. That's going to happen. You're going to see things you don't agree with politically out in the world. If you want to leave a comment that you have a different viewpoint, I'm fine with those kind of comments. I don't like comments where you're just insulting people, where you're calling people stupid or idiots or things like that. I don't like insulting comments, regardless of who they're directed at. You can be critical. You can say, I disagree with this because but you're like, ah, look at those morons. They ruin everything. I don't like that kind of comment. I don't think that's a productive way to talk. And that's one thing I've been trying to push on this channel since the beginning, is that I don't like how divided the country is. I don't like how divided we are as a people. I don't like that we can't talk about things without it being reduced to insults and name calling. I think that things can only really get better once we start talking to each other again. So that's just an aside there, just my thoughts, my feelings. And I got, different, another comment was just that these people that were protesting, showing protests, were saying this is ruining the Halloween parade, that they shouldn't do this in a Halloween parade. The Halloween parade is for fun. Politics aren't fun, so they shouldn't put politics in the parade. And, to some degree, I hate how political everything has become. I hate how everything devolves into politics. But I actually would argue that a parade is an appropriate place for someone to express free speech, for someone to express their views on a subject. A parade in some way, they are a public forum. I guess it's up to the community, up to the parade committee, whatever, what they want in the parade. But parades are made up of different organizations. Some of them community organizations, some of them political organizations. You'll see politicians themselves. Some guy running for governor of Georgia was in the parade. And I think it's fair to say what your beliefs are. If you're not doing it in a hateful way, if you're simply, I think speaking out and saying you don't like the president is a right that every American has, obviously. Regardless of who that president is, there's going to be people that don't agree, that disagree with what they stand for. And I think it's my personal beliefs. And again, let this video be a conversation. Even in the comment section, do you think that that's fair? Do you think a parade is an appropriate place? Because I kind of do. And I don't know. Well, let's do a tassel worm check here. I think those are ducks. And then there was another type of comment that that bothered me, and that is the idea that I should have excluded those parts from my video, that I should create, to contribute to creating an environment where people can get away from politics on my channel. And I don't know, it makes me worry that I have misrepresented myself to some degree on this channel and what I'm trying to do here on this channel. So let's talk about that. Talk about what I am trying to do here, what I've always been trying to do here. And I've said on my channel that I don't like to get into politics. And by what I mean when I say that is I don't like to discuss partisan issues. I don't like to inject very much of my own political beliefs. I'll inject my beliefs, but I don't want to argue politics on this channel, and I don't want people to feel that they need to be aligned a certain way to watch these videos and to be part of what I'm doing here. I accept people of all belief systems, as long as they're kind, as long as they can be kind, as long as they can not. I definitely get rid of people, delete people for attacking other people in the comments section, for being insulting towards me. But I want people of all backgrounds, all beliefs, to feel like they have a right to watch these videos and that they can enjoy these videos. What I never really intended to do was when I'm vlogging is create this idea that politics, beliefs, people of different beliefs, that they don't exist in the world, or that they can somehow be separated from what is happening. I am doing vlogs. Majority of the time I'm uploading a vlog the next day So in some ways I'm giving, as I travel the country, I'm giving a bit of a reflection of the world around me and what that world looks like. And I don't think that it's possible for me to do that and and leave out politics, religious beliefs, and stuff like that. What I can do, what I do, and what I will continue to do is not give any sort of heavy-handed preaching or commentary about such things on this channel. I will not show you something and then tell you why you should. Well, maybe I will. Maybe in some sense I will leave the option open that maybe some point I will speak my mind on something. But for the most part, it's not what I want this channel to be. I don't want to be preaching at people on what they should believe or that they should agree with me. I accept the fact that people watch this video may disagree with me very strongly on certain issues. And I say, you're welcome here. You're welcome to be here. I don't think there's enough of that nowadays. But when I said that I like to keep politics out of it, basically what I'm saying is I like to keep my politics out of it. I like to include other people's beliefs. I'm fascinated by I'm interested in other people's beliefs. If I see someone with beliefs different than mine, one thing I like to ask myself is, do they have a point? Like, I don't believe, like, right off the bat, my gut reaction is I don't agree with that, but maybe there's part of what they're saying that I could agree with. So I'm really interested in, like, the why. I get so annoyed and so grossed out by these, like, people that just repeat catchphrases, that just repeat, like, it's like, okay, you heard someone on the internet use something as an insult towards a group of people, now you're gonna just recycle this talking point. I don't like that. But I'm interested why people in their heart of hearts believe in some of the things they do, because I don't like to think that people just believe these things because they're evil or they're wrong. I think that most people think that they're right. I would like to think most people think that they try to be moral people, and somehow those beliefs fit into their set of morality. So let me just reiterate, my stance here on this channel is I like to show the world around me. I like to show different places, different things. I like to feature things that are different than what I believe. I like people, groups, cultures that have different ways of looking at things, different ways of thinking about things than I have. I'm fascinated with that, and I enjoy showing them. And that's always, like, in some ways, that is almost the genesis of what I'm actually doing here in the first place. You go back to my photo blog, you go back even further to, like, when I posted photos on the website known as Flickr, which is still around, but one of the things that inspired me to start taking photos, to start getting into photography, was Southern culture. I moved here from the north, from my home in the Midwest, and I moved down here to the mountains of North Carolina. In fact, that's literally where my name comes from. The Carpetbagger name was just a tongue-in-cheek reference to the fact that I traveled from the north to the south and was in fact taking a lot of photos about Southern culture. I was fixated on Southern culture, and that's when I started my photo blog with a B. I decided not to post to Flickr anymore, but to post to my own photo blog, mostly because I wanted a better way to tell the story without just using straight up photos, being able to put some of my own commentary in there. And I chose the name, the Carpetbagger. It comes partly from one of my Flickr photos that someone with a Confederate flag for an icon told me that I was a carpetbagger. He's like, we have a name for people like you down here, and that's Carpetbagger. So I kind of took it, used it, and yeah, my early photos and even the early videos on this channel, that was what I focused on. Southern culture, kind of the culture shock that I went through moving from the north to the south. And two of those major components of that culture shock is religion and politics, because I moved down here to the south, and you don't see it as much nowadays, but back then in the early 2000s still, you would see Confederate flags everywhere, on cars, on license plates, on just flying in front of people's houses, flying at the South Carolina state capitol, flying everywhere. Oh, there was actually some actual state flags had Confederate flags as part of their design. I don't think any of those exist anymore, but it was a culture shock. Growing up, we were taught primarily that Abraham Lincoln, was the greatest man that ever lived, that the Confederates of the Civil War were bad guys, straight up bad guys. We weren't taught a lot of nuance in elementary school. I don't think anyone is. But so it was shocking for me to move to a place where the Confederate flag was seen as normal, where Confederate soldiers, where there were statues of Confederate soldiers, statues that celebrated them, that celebrate not only of them, but that celebrated what they did. And obviously coming from where I was taught that that's not okay. And I wanted to, because I knew these people. I met people that would have Confederate flag shirts, or that would drive Confederate flag cars, or would fly Confederate flags in front of their houses. And I realized that, these aren't just like mustache twirling villains. There's people that disagree with, that I disagree with. I would never display the Confederate flag or put the Confederate flag on a pole in front of my house, and that's because I think it's offensive to black people. I would never want to hurt a black person or make them feel uncomfortable that way. But meeting people and learning what people believe here, that's not how they saw it. I mean, it's different how I saw it, but it's just interesting to me. It's fascinating to just learn more about people and why they believe the things they do. And I'm not saying that it changed how I thought about it at a base level, but it made me more empathetic towards the fact that not all people agree, that not all people see things in the same black and white way, and that you can strongly disagree with someone, but that doesn't mean that person has no value or no worth. And that's what I see a lot nowadays in politics, is people just acting like anyone that disagrees with them on anything is not worthy of being a person that's not even worthy of being talked to. So yeah, it is it's just interesting. It's interesting how the world is now, and I just feel like a lack of empathy for each other is one of the biggest problems we have today. I'm pretty sure this waterfall is fake. They turn it off in the winter. And don't forget about that tassel worm. I think that is a big piece of wood. I think. And another big component of that culture shock from moving from the north to the south is religion. And I grew up in the Midwest, which is primarily Catholic. My mom raised us as Lutheran, which is a more relaxed form of a much more relaxed form of Catholicism, and which is funny because I always most of my friends were Catholic, so I always felt like, oh well, my friends are Catholic, but we're Lutheran. Like I felt like left out of the group, and then I moved down here to the South, and everyone's like, oh, you're Catholic. I'm like, well, I'm not Catholic. I was raised Lutheran. And they're like, it's the same thing. Lutheran is just another word for Catholic. But anyways, kind of the vibe. And other people from the Midwest, feel free to leave a comment if this is accurate or inaccurate, is that people are religious. People do go to church. Faith means a lot to people in that part of the country. But it's something you don't necessarily go out and necessarily preach to your friends. Like, you have you maybe if your friends go to the same church or something, that's different. But like, I don't know, you don't go talking to people you work with. You don't know what their religion is, or people at school, you don't know what their religion is. You tend to just kind of not bring up that subject. For better, for worse, that's just how it is. And down here in the South, that's not how things are. Not at all. These giant proclamations of faith everywhere. People here, mostly people of especially like Southern Baptists in this area, other evangelical religions, they will spread the word, because that's part of their belief system, is that they're supposed to be spreading the word. But you will see reminders everywhere, signs that say Jesus, giant monuments built, the Field of the Woods, the giant 10 Commandments on the side of a mountain, different, and those fascinate me, these giant spectacular shows of belief in religion. To me, like, the nuts and bolts of what they believed in wasn't even the most important part to me. It was just that how people expressed themselves, the passion that they had for what they believed in, fascinated me. So these were two major things that were kind of the bedrock of why I started, having a presence here on the internet, was these photos, these blog posts about these sort of things. And again, my style then is the same as my style now, that I don't ridicule it, I don't endorse it, nor do I argue with it. To me, it's like you lay it out there, you show the world, and the viewer can make their own decisions about it. Not necessarily, I'm not necessarily out there even trying to change people's mind about anything, just appreciating the world. And of course, probably what a lot of people think of with me and content is roadside attractions, and that was also a huge part of the bedrock. But like, a lot of those roadside attractions that I would show would be from here in the South, are connected to religion, and a lot of them are connected to the Civil War and the Confederacy as well. So I like to take an approach of just showing what I find interesting, and that is something I find interesting. So I guess this is a really long-winded way of kind of reiterating. I don't know if I drifted from that sort of way to express myself, but at least people may not be picking up on that my goal here is not. So I feel like if I film this parade and then cut out the parts of politics, that wouldn't be a very accurate representation of the parade. Because I do think those are interesting. I think that's interesting. I think it's interesting that the people of this community feel strongly in a certain way. And I don't know, it's almost like, it's just I'm trying to find the best words for it, because maybe I don't have the best words for it. Like I said, one of the most important things in my life is empathy. And I think empathy does start with just looking at the world around you, not seeing it in black and white, and just appreciating it for what it is. So leave a comment in the comment section. Am I making any sense here? Or is this a bunch of blithering dribble-drabble that is coming out of my mouth? Yeah, I don't know, because I've been strong in talking about not having politics on the channel, and I think by me saying that, I have not been clear about what I mean, and that is, we're not going to argue about politics here on this channel. This channel is a place where I don't want people in the comments just spouting off about just a bunch of BS. And really, this channel isn't about that. It isn't about arguing which side is better. It's a side. I want the channel just to be like an appreciation. I know in some ways, this channel is my love letter to this country. And I started out being obsessed with Southern culture, this channel being about Southern culture, and it expanded. It expanded into the United States culture, maybe beyond those borders now. And this channel has been a love letter to the United States. The car is a train whistle. Been a love letter to the United States of America, because I do love this country. But at the same time, man, this country's got a lot of warts, don't it? And I don't make excuses. I don't make excuses for the United States. I think there's a lot of good things. I think there's a lot of bad things. And what I want to do here is film the parts of this country that I find beautiful, amazing, and sometimes I want to film stuff that maybe makes you question that. Maybe it makes you question that. And I trust you as a viewer to make up your own mind about that, to make up your own decisions, your own beliefs. I feel too many people, not only on YouTube, but just media in general, just want to shove stuff down your throat and tell you how to think and how to believe. What I want to do here is to show you this world, this amazing world, this amazing country, warts and all, and let you decide for yourself. And in the end of the day, if I've maybe helped someone be a little more empathetic, maybe help someone be a little more understanding towards people that disagree with them, then maybe I've helped out in a very, very, very small way. Because you know what? I don't want people to necessarily think that I am against being involved in politics, that I am against being passionate about politics, because these things, outside of these videos, these things are important to me. I do vote in every election. I do have feelings. I don't feel like yelling on the internet and talking about trying to convince everyone. I don't think that changes any minds. I don't think that changes anyone's mind to have someone on Twitter call them an idiot has never changed. Has never changed anyone's mind ever. So I've always thought, that if you disagree with someone, even if you really, really disagree with someone on a level where their beliefs genuinely offend you, the best thing I think you could do is to be kind and to talk to them, and just maybe they'll hear you out. Maybe they'll change their mind. Maybe they'll change their mind just a little bit. Maybe they'll soften. Maybe they'll rethink things, because there's documented cases of this happening in the real world. It's a gentleman, I always forget his name, but I think he's done some amazing work. He was a black, I think he was a musician originally, but he made it his life goal to convert members of the KKK. And he didn't do this by shouting about it. He didn't do this by insulting them on social media. He made it his mission to become their friends. And that sounds crazy, but he would become their friends, meet them where they were at, become their friends, and then they would change their mind. A large portion of them changed their mind. Most of them that he took time to become friends with changed their mind and rejected racism, because he shattered their expectations, their beliefs, their faulty beliefs about what a black person, what an African American person really is. So you're not going to get very far by insulting people. You're not going to get very far by yelling and repeating a bunch of dribble that you heard some grifter on the internet repeatedly say. They say those words over and over again to program you. That's how a cult works. Just keep that in mind when you're listening to people. And of course, we want to pay our respects to the tragic hero here, Junaluska himself, who this town and this lake is named after. So that's one thing I think I'd really love, people that made comments about that I shouldn't have shown political stuff on this channel. And a lot of times when people make those comments, really what they're kind of saying, I think, is they don't want me to show stuff that they don't agree with. But what I would like those people to reflect on, and of course probably not going to. I mean, I'm sure people that made those comments could care less what I'm saying right now. But I just think it would be an excellent opportunity to reflect and to think about, like, as people, as people in this country, I think we should be exposed to stuff that we don't agree with. I think it's so easy, and of course the internet has a lot of blame in the fact that we surround ourselves in like these echo chambers of just surrounding ourselves with people that agree with us, that we go out on the internet and find people that just agree with us. Sometimes it's really healthy to be around people that you don't agree with. And this is one reason I would encourage people. The internet is great. You can watch fun YouTube videos about roadside attractions on YouTube. But you do need to, I don't know, and I'm guilty of this as well. Like, it's losing touch of what the real world is. And I'm thankful that I have this amazing job where I get to travel all over the country, that I get to see these different places. And, it gives me a chance to be exposed to people with different ideas. I think it's so important when we live in the real world, that we realize that the internet is not a real world, especially social media. It is just an amalgamation of our echo chambers, and more specifically than that, it's people making money off you being angry. I talk about grifters out there on social media, on YouTube, on every platform, where it's they get paid, they get clicks by making you angry, by making you angry at other people. And don't think for one second that that's not 100% what they want. They monetize their clicks, they monetize your anger. So don't feed them, don't give them what they want, don't give them your anger, because it just makes them richer. And a lot of these people telling you to be angry, telling you how angry they are, and telling you should be angry too, these people aren't really angry. They're just rich because they know how to make you angry, and they know how to make money off of it. So maybe in some ways, I'd like to see myself as the opposite of that. Don't be so angry. It's okay to be angry. It is okay to not feel good. It is okay to see things in the news that makes you angry. But that anger is not healthy to you. It's a poison to your own self, and it's a poison to those of you around you. My grandfather is now no longer with us. Someone that I love deeply and dearly, and he had political views that were pretty much the opposite of mine. And does that mean I shouldn't love my grandfather? Like, that's horrible. Of course I loved him. I loved him for I didn't love his political views, but I loved everything else about him, because he was an amazing person. He was a kind and giving person. He taught me so many things. And to me, like, his political views are just like such a small part of him. It was a part of him, but it was such a small part of him. And nobody's perfect. Not every single person is 100% good or right or wrong. And it's just, I guess that's what just drives me crazy. Like, oh, you disagree with me, so you're not even a person. You're not. Some of the people talk about, like, people that disagree with them aren't even people. No, it's okay. It's okay to disagree. It's okay. If you disagree with everything I've said in this video, it's okay to disagree. some people maybe I disagree with everything about. Those are people that I don't need in my life, and that probably don't need me in their life. I don't wish them ill. I don't wish them a bad life. I just wish them a life that is separate from my life. But some people I disagree with very strongly, but I keep them in my life because other parts of what they do, of who they are, do align with me and my values. And I know, like, some of you are probably like, what is this video? Like, we just want to see fun stuff. We just want to see roadside attractions. And that's fine. If if you found this video to be uninteresting or useless, by all means, skip it. Skip this video. So the reason I make so many videos is that in case I want to do one where I'm just getting something off my chest or clearing my mind, at least you have other videos that I've made that may be a little more fun or maybe a little more your taste. But I think, to me, to some degree, I think it's important. I've created this thing going on over 10 years now, and I think sometimes it's important to reflect, like, is what I'm doing, is this what I set out to do? Is this compatible with what my current value system is? Is this what I want it to be? Am I making the content that I want to be? Because I think, I don't know, one thing I don't ever want to be, and maybe this is a tangent, maybe this is unrelated, but like, I don't want to be someone who's trapped on YouTube that hates the content that they're making, and that just is in it because they're trying to find the least expensive thing to do to generate the most views just because it's a job. You might as well be doing a punch clock, going back and doing a 9-to-5 job, because and I think I am. I think I still love this. I know I still love this. It's evolved, it's changed. My life has changed. It's taken on its own form, but I hope I'm still putting out this grand vision that I had at one point. I hope that this is the realization of that, because this channel, it started out as a hobby. It started out as me showing things that I love to show, and I think I still do that here. And in some degrees, I have more opportunities now. I'm able to travel further. I'm able to go to more expensive things and film for this channel. So I can show things on this channel that when I started, I could never even dream of. Just talking kind of about where I've been, where I've come. It always gets me thinking about how far this channel's come, how far I've gone doing this crazy thing that just totally blew up, bigger than I ever thought it would. And some people are like, "Oh, giving yourself too much credit there. This is just a small channel," and it is a small channel, but it's still a bigger channel than I ever thought it would be in my wildest dreams. So I think, it's important to stay true to yourself, to remind yourself why you're doing this, remind yourself why you love doing this. I don't think this is, maybe, I think a lot of people go on YouTube because they see it as a way to make money, and some people are very, very good, very, very good at making money. And so they said in Citizen Kane that making a lot of money is not hard if all you want to do is make a lot of money. Maybe I do want to make a lot of money, but that's not all. That's not all I want to do. I think it's important to do something you're truly passionate about, even if that's not your job or not what you're getting paid to do. I think having passion and having an outlet and having something that makes you feel like the best you can be, I think that's important in your life. And that comes in different forms to every single person has different things out there that make them feel like themselves. And it took a while for me. It took me till I was an adult. I had very, very early on in my life, I had no idea what I wanted to do with myself, my life. No idea. I didn't know. Getting out of high school, I the farthest thing from my mind was having a career, or even the farthest thing from my mind was even knowing what to do next. And somehow, through the life I've lived, I've just been blessed and fortunate enough to be able to stumble backwards into this thing here on YouTube that has allowed me to really live my wildest dreams. This really is. This is really what this is. You know, when I was a little kid, I liked to draw, but I had no talent. I couldn't draw. I wanted to write stories. I wanted to write books. You know, I tried writing. Not a good writer. I tried to take photos to express my creativity that way. You know, it was fun, but it didn't really go anywhere. And for some reason, when I stumbled upon this, it actually went somewhere. And absolutely blessed that I can share these experiences with you guys. Share my experiences with those of you who are like-minded, not in every way, but at least in the way that we have an appreciation for this world, this country, and the more unusual and zany and whimsical parts of this country that are out there. This used to be the World Methodist Museum. It is not. Apparently, it is not that anymore. Looks like they're using it for something else. Most of Junaluska is a Methodist retreat, so Methodists from all over the world come here and would visit the World Methodist Museum. But apparently, that is no more. I don't know what happened to the collection. The collection might still be in there. I don't know what they're using this building for. I went there a few times. It was always very quiet. Not a lot of people went in. You'd think a lot of people would go in, considering we're smack dab in the middle of this Methodist resort. But they had a few cool things in there. They had a horse vertebrae painted to look like John Wesley, the founder of Methodism. This is the Avett fountain here. And if you know the band, the Avett Brothers, this actually is their family. Now, still looking for the tassel worm. I see a bunch of little heads poking out, but most of them appear to be ducks. It'd be really funny if after all this ranting that I actually did find the tassel worm. It's actually the last known sighting of the tassel worm, the crepe and custard shop here. So let's see, we'll go down by the water. See. Ugh, don't want to slide here. We'll just take a peek in the water here. See if there's a tassel worm lurking. Again, remember, it has the body of a salamander or snake and the head of a cat. There's some ducks. Ducks! You've seen the tassel worm. Wait, is that? No. That's a stick, I think. Yeah, I'm not very skilled at cryptid hunting. All I can do is really show up and peek. Yeah, I've not been on a lot of actual cryptid hunts. Like, I've not been out in the woods looking for Bigfoot. I have been on some ghost hunts. I'm not good at ghost hunting. Ghost hunting takes a lot of patience. Something that I am very not equipped to. I do not have a lot of patience. We're sitting there listening to the spirit box, and I'm like, come on, ghost, say something spooky. So I don't know. As far as cryptid hunting, going out in the woods looking for Bigfoot, I'd like to do it. I'd like a chance to go on a real Bigfoot investigation, but I worry that I just get like, come on, where's the Sasquatch? Came all the way out here. I better see a Sasquatch. Just on every ghost hunt I've been on, I've had my fingers crossed that we were going to prove that ghosts exist. Sorry if this has been a weirdly disjointed video. Sometimes I have some things on my mind that I just want to get out there, just put out there into the ether to see if Leave a comment in the comment section. Is this kind of video super obnoxious and annoying? Do you guys not want to hear me rant and ramble and go on, or would you, or does someone like, is this okay? Do you guys enjoy just hearing me kind of ramble off the cuff about what's on my mind? Because I feel better. I hope you guys feel better as well. See a lovely flock of Canadian geese. Some people call them Canada geese. I've always called them Canadian geese. One of my favorite things about geese is that they can breathe through the tips of their tongue. Oh, I didn't mean to. I'm not trying to run you guys off. Continue doing your goose thing. Just wanted to hang out with some geese. You guys seen the tassel worm? Used to come out here with my ex-wife and with Anna. We'd feed the geese. We'd bring bread. We'd feed the geese, the ducks, all the aquatic birds that lived out here. And then they started putting up signs. You're not allowed to feed the birds. Apparently it's bad for them. But you understand, probably eating a ton of bread. I don't know if the geese need a high carb diet like that. And I think it discourages them from migrating, because they'll stick around because they think they get food here, and that's not good. It's not good to ruin birds' migration patterns. You know, whether it's giving them bread or you're flying around in a helicopter trying to change their course, which I think is something only a madman would do. These are not helpful for the geese. So I want to apologize if I bored anyone to death with my incessant ramblings. We'll be doing some fun stuff this weekend as we wrap up the Halloween season. It's coming soon. Halloween is almost here. The Halloween season will soon be over, and then it will be Christmas. And leave a comment in the comment section. Always curious about stuff to do for Christmas. Christmas events that look interesting. I may try to go back to the Henry Ford for Christmas. I had such a great time there for Halloween. I would really love to see what they do in Christmas time. Of course, open up to any other ideas or things going on in the haunt season, in the Christmas season. I'm sorry, so used to saying haunt season. On this channel, haunt season begins the end of August and ends on Hauntline. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do on Halloween. I'm not sure if I'm even going to film anything on Halloween. One thing about filming on Halloween is that when Halloween's over, people are done with it. And then your video comes out the next day, and people are like, are we still talking about Halloween here? So I don't know. I'm going to check and see if there's any specific Halloween-based events going on. But other than that, just going to see where the wind takes me here for a little bit. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you to all of you who watch these videos. And if you'd like to help out, all that stuff's down in the description. And all of that helps keep this train on the track, this boat in the water, and this dirigible in the air. Till next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.